Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Obindako. It's another great day, and I want to share with you entrepreneurship as a tool for Africa's development. Entrepreneurship as a tool for Africa's development. I've done some few studies, and two main things contribute to any country's development, any continent's development: good governance, good political leadership, and very good business sector. So, for instance, Ghana, if you have a very good government who is so much passionate and interested in the development of the country, and then we have the citizens who are spearheading industry, and if you talk of industry, everything in between the stream, from the farm, to processing, to packaging, to the shelf, everything in between. If you get a lot of our citizens to be passionate about this, I think that it can be a very good tool for us to develop. Entrepreneurship as a tool for Africa's development, entrepreneurship as a tool for Ghana's development, which means that a conscious effort must be rich from both those in government and the citizens. And that would mean that we would have to have a lot of our citizens, or even an education system, an education structure that is geared towards producing a lot of people who see this as a core, as a key tool for us to develop. So, which means that the content of education must be restructured. It has to be something that will favor, or that will bring a whole new generation that will be able to produce product, set up industries, every sector of the industry, So let's say you pick the food stream, every sector, from the farm to those who harvest it, to the machines that are involved, to those setting up industries, to those packaging the industry, to those building big retail outlets for this to reach our people. If you pick construction, for instance, you have to get those who will be interested, or those who have built producing construction equipment and tools, and those who are producing the houses, those who are producing the materials for the building of the houses. You pick any industry, for instance, gold. I don't understand why a country that was touted as Gold Coast, we don't have a lot of billionaires coming from this industry. If you look at the history of gold, maybe I don't know much, but the little I know is that I've not seen any Ghanaian who is in the league of the billions, who is controlling the gold industry. A lot of our so-called mineral resources have benefited not the Africans, not the Ghanaians. They have benefited the foreigners, because it will not just, we have developed a whole generation that is so much interested in job. Our education was set up to just produce people who will look for jobs. And so, if you go to even our key commercial centers, the people who play majorly in these areas are not people that we really sent to school for them to start something. No, they are people who did not find formal education. The way education was introduced to us, I may be wrong, but it was introduced to us so that we will find government work. So for us, when you go to school, it means that you have to find a work from the government. Now, if you didn't go to school, then you have to go and be the cocoa farmer. You have to go and be the trader at Makula or Adum. And that, for me, it means that we have not been conscious of how strong entrepreneurship is as a tool for development. So maybe going forward, and for me, our key barrier is the mindset. It's not so much even the difficulties in the business. It's in setting up a business. It's the mindset. If you get any young boy or any young lady who has gone through our education, by the time that they get the degree, they don't have any strength to start a business. They don't even want to see themselves as starting a business. If they start a business, maybe it was because they could not find anything to do. So once they find something to do, they leave the business. And for me, a lot has to be done to explain this barrier, because it's a mindset problem. It's not so much that people will not want to start businesses, but the content. If you go to a lot of these universities, look at the course structure. The course structure is said that it's so generic, it's so general that when you come out, you don't know anything about what it takes to set up anything between in the business chain. You don't know anything about it. Let's say I go to school, I study psychology, or physiology, or English, or history. A lot of these courses, I think they should just be about 2, 3, 4, 5% of our student population. But if you go to any major universities in our country, Legon and this, they are the majority. So they complete the school, they are made, they have content that they cannot develop direct skill with. But you see, entrepreneurship is that a little bit more easier when you can come out with a product that people need. So for instance, if I understand something that maybe I can produce a chair. So once I come out from school and I can produce a chair, I have a skill. Direct skill. If I'm lazy, even if I produce one chair and somebody buys it, maybe my mind will shift to that. It does not qualify. Building a business is like training, like giving birth to a child. There are processes. I am not so much interested in the big league so much as getting a lot of our youth to just try business, try to come out with a product to the market. Try, not just look for money. Try, because it's a tool that we can. Because with a little school, people will be able to set up business system that maybe eventually will become a big business that can compete with a lot of these foreigners that are coming. We have a lot of raw materials, but they have not benefited us. We have a lot of minerals, they have not benefited us, because there's something in between. It's not just the technology. Who are those coming up with the technology? Who are those who can have the skill, or who have the business skill, the entrepreneurship skill, to put a lot of people together and to mass produce anything to benefit our people? And for me, going forward, maybe that is what the virus has brought, that the awareness that our school should be able to shift the mind of the youth, the mind of this generation, to say that it is worth it for you to go to school and start something. See a need. There are so many needs in our society. There are so many needs, from waste to water to clothes to shoe to food. Every sector needs us to think, and they need us to create results. If you can code, if you can produce a software that can help the agri sector, maybe you would want to start a cocoa farm. Maybe you would want to turn the cocoa bean into a powder, or into a lotion, or maybe into a chocolate. Maybe you will start to build small houses to replace the containers that a lot of our people are sleeping in. Maybe you are the one called to take the plastic that is choking our water bodies, and maybe turn them into something usable. We have so many areas, but the mind shift is so needed. And if you talk to any of our youth, especially the young boys, the understanding of life is that just get money, and they don't care how you get money. That's why Sakawa and all these things are that widespread, because they want to do something. They have energy, they want to do something, but they lack the right way of looking at things. The mindset is wrong. Because starting a business, even though money is important, starting a business has a higher core than just the money. The value that you are bringing, the problems that you can solve, and how many of them that you can solve. That is what society compensates us for. So I'm talking about how entrepreneurship can be used as a tool. So if we can get, let's say we are producing maybe 300,000, 400,000 students. If you can get 80% of them bold, committed, proud to say that we want to go into any of the sectors of our economy, just give a try, and we happen to get maybe 5% who will stay after 5 years. These 5%, a lot of them will be able to build big businesses, and that's why we are going to raise companies that will compete with ShopRite, with Melcom, with MTN, with all these companies that were not started by Africans. So we need this kind of shift of thinking. It cannot be that our people are just, they go to school, they get a degree, and then the next time they go and do law, MBA, and they get into politics, they get into corporate sectors, and that's all. And then we leave the major part that can transform our society to foreigners. When there is any situation, they will pack their things and go. They will pack their things and go. So entrepreneurship is a key tool for our development. It cannot be just politics. It cannot be just government. It cannot just become assemblyman, become an MP, become a minister, become a president, and that is it. You need both. It's like a human hand. A human being. One hand is the government, one hand is the people who are producing to feed and to take care of the needs of the society. And that means that you've got to have a lot of your people to be entrepreneurs, to be business people. And that's why we create prosperity. That's why we solve unemployment. They talk about unemployment, but they don't tell us that we need a lot of people to create the jobs. And government cannot create the jobs. The best of governments can only be the backbone to support these businesses, to create this awareness. But the government itself, how many jobs can a government create? Because government changes all the time. But we, as a people, can have an agenda to say that we need a lot of our people to be skilled, because entrepreneurship is a skill. It's not just, even though they define it as anybody who's trying to do anything for money. But it goes beyond that. It's systemic, it's structural. It's more of an organizational skill than just opening a tabletop shop to say that is an entrepreneur. That's an entrepreneur, but those are not the ones that we so much need. We need to convert a lot of these graduates to start to see the need to start businesses and to employ one person, two people. Even if they fail, they still have to go and try till we get a lot of them, because then it becomes a core, becomes something that will help us to develop. So we have no option but to produce a lot of our people to start to look at how to start businesses. We have produced a lot of engineers. They have all become bankers, or they have traveled to America or England or somewhere. We have produced a lot of doctors. Maybe a doctor, I don't know how they will become entrepreneurs, but at least we have produced a lot of them. They don't even live here to solve the problems. Majority of them, they think of themselves first, because they may have a point. They say that they have to eat. But I think when you are taught, when you are aware, and when you are told the ramifications of your choices and your decisions, and the effect of this with the recurrent, the so-called underdevelopment and the poverty of Africa, nobody will solve it but us. And if the best of our minds are not involved in this, then who else will solve this? It shouldn't be that I didn't go to school, that's why I'm starting a business, or that's why I'm trying a business. No. There should be that pride in this generation to say that I see a need and I want to solve it. And mind you, you don't have to wait for government. If the government wakes up, it's fine. But you don't have to wait for government for you to do what you're required to do. It's our duty to make sure that we build an Africa, a better one for our children. An Africa that benefits from the blessings